220? The hell? That doesn't make any sense. These are the heavy darts, right? What is up, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Today, we got a review sample in from Out of Darts, and we are reviewing the Tactical Edition Unicorn by a toy company I cannot pronounce, but I'll show you the name on the box here in a second. But this is the XYL Unicorn Tactical Edition, and it is a pretty sweet little platform. And this thing is supposed to be capable of up to 230 FPS now, so cannot wait to test this thing out. Thank you so much to Luke for sending this over for review. Definitely helps me out, get more videos out on this channel, because I've definitely cut back on what I purchased Nerf-wise recently, just because I have way too much stuff and nowhere to put it. But this definitely helps out, and I know I haven't made videos as consistently as I was there. It's just become very difficult for me to do, but I do still want to make videos every now and then, so hopefully you guys tune in when I do make a video. So let's see what this baby's all about. So your blaster will come in this box disassembled. There is an assembly guide from Luke that shows you exactly how to do it, but it's very straightforward, very simple. But like I said, XYL Unicorn, this is the name of the company. Good luck pronouncing that. But they make solid blasters, and there's really not a whole lot to look at here, but we'll go ahead and crack this baby open and show you what you get inside. All right, so in the package, we get the blaster, somewhat disassembled, so we will have to put this thing together. I am going to do that now. I am not going to show you all the steps because Luke has already done that in a video he has linked in the description, purchase description on his website. So definitely check that out. This has been quality controlled, tested, and reviewed, I guess, by Luke himself, the man, the myth, the legend. So this should be ready to put together without any issues. So let's go ahead and do that now. So the original Unicorn was a much smaller platform like this, although I have made a few additions to the blaster. We'll get into more of that later, but this is an awesome platform. I absolutely love this blaster. This is my go-to HVZ blaster, shooting just under 130 FPS very consistently, and it is just perfect for me because it continues to use half-length darts, and I don't have to switch up my loadout completely from a flywheel blaster when I need to use a Springer. Worked really well at End War the last 2 years. I definitely used it this year because I was only allowed to use a Springer in the first mission, and this was very effective. So this is great for 130, 140 FPS is about what it shoots out of the box. But if you want something for competitive play, something for higher FPS games, this probably isn't what you want to go with. And that's where the Tactical Unicorn comes in. All right, so went ahead and put this thing together. It is pretty straightforward to do so. You just basically have to put some screws in, put the upper and lower half together, per usual, put the pins in, and you're pretty much all set. But there are a few differences between this and the original Unicorn. They have left out a few parts. Obviously, they've added a bunch of stuff to make this thing much more powerful. The things that they've left out, I'll go over first. You no longer get the top rail that is permanent. This is a sliding top rail, so it slides, and that comes with the Unicorn also. It allows you to put a grip up here and prime it from the top, although I don't think you'll be doing that with this heavy of a spring load. I think that would be very difficult. Doesn't really make sense to me why they decided to use this top rail and send this top rail and not the other one. But you can purchase the other top rail separately, and it does come with the underneath piece that is required to install that. So that's definitely something to look into. Also, you do not get the original grip. This actually does come with the original Unicorn, but this grip was meant to be up here, but now you have much more tactical rail underneath here to install a grip, so that is nice. So you have a lot of options aftermarket-wise in terms of what grip you might want to put down here. But this is the grip that is meant for the top rail, but now you put it down below on the pump grip. I really do like the more vertical foregrip that comes with the blaster, although it doesn't make as much sense when you have this much rail, but I'll probably be looking into another type of angled foregrip because this one just seems, it's usable, it's fine, but just seems a little cheap, and I don't prefer the grip on it. But it's great that we have a lot of options because we have this whole entire rail here to attach to. So the major difference besides the pump grip is the big tube sticking out the back here, and this spring actually is a different size spring. It's smaller and it goes all the way into this tube. The Unicorn that I have here has a shorter spring right here. This is a buffer tube, but pretend like this isn't here, and it has the stock you see here on it, and that is basically the original Unicorn without the B-car, which is another thing that's interesting. No B-car comes with any of the Unicorns, which I do think it pretty much needs one to shoot accurately, but you get to choose, I guess, whichever one you want aftermarket. We'll go ahead and crack this thing in two so you can kind of see what that looks like inside. 2 pins, and you can get easily inside the blaster. It is under some pre-compression, so just be careful when you take it apart. Probably should take out the magazine, but no worries. So this is the size of the spring that is now with the blaster. Much longer and thinner. It does have metal components inside instead of plastic, so that is also a nice addition. Much stronger and definitely probably needed for the higher FPSs we will be using, so that is good. But this blaster is definitely easy to disassemble and assemble. It has a metal trigger housing there, which is the same as the standard one, which is very high quality. This is a nylon blaster as before. If you guys are interested in all those details, I would recommend looking at my original review where I really go in depth about the blaster and platform itself. This review is mostly just going to be focused on the Tactical Edition, but we'll go ahead and put this thing back together and put in the 2 pins. Those pins lock in really nice and tight. They don't flop around like a lot of pins do, so I really do like these. They're designed and sized specifically for this blaster, so that is awesome. Really enjoy this style of a teardown blaster. The barrel has been changed since my original Unicorn. This is now a threaded barrel, so that is awesome. So you can change it out and put in other barrels with the same thread. So that is definitely pretty cool. But I do think it's pretty important for it to have this recess in it. That definitely helps the smoothness of the prime. So you may have to make some other adjustments to the internals if you don't use one of their style barrels. So although you can use other barrels, your mileage may vary, and I got into that more in my other Unicorn video. This is my 3rd one now, and definitely check that out if you're interested in kind of learning about the different barrel types in this blaster. But it is cool that they've changed that to a threaded barrel. So this is the platform that I was referring to. This is another Unicorn that I built for higher FPS games. This is a black raisin kit, which is very similar to the Unicorn Tactical Edition. This is a buffer tube that goes over that metal part, which I think is really nice, and I probably will be changing out the stock on the Tactical Edition also because I just much prefer a buffer tube stock, especially for high FPS. The stock that comes with this one is a little flimsy. This is as long as it'll go. It's pretty small here. It's not my favorite part of the blaster, and especially under high spring loads, I do think this will probably bend a little bit as my other one did. So these metal bars are a little thin for me, and I just don't prefer that. I kind of wish they would have designed this metal part as a buffer tube. I think that would have been really cool, but there's definitely 3D printed parts that you can install over this that will turn it in to something more like this. But as far as the Unicorn Tactical Edition, this is in-house designed, so it's not aftermarket at all. So that is definitely good. It all comes together. You don't have to have it shipped from overseas. You can buy this from Out of Darts, obviously, and other retailers that sell the Unicorn, possibly in your country. So yeah, this is a pretty sweet little platform. It is definitely longer now, but I do love it. The pump on it, really nice. smooth return on it is great. Seal, not so sure about yet. We'll test that out here and I'll show you. First off, you do have to kind of hold this forward to get it to actually fire, is what I noticed, because when you push it, let's see if it does it. Let's hold it here. It wants to kind of pull back. So if you don't have that all the way pulled forward, it will not fire. So we'll see how that goes in actual, you know, use of the blaster. But for now, we'll go ahead and try to test the seal, but it doesn't have a great seal. It's definitely not 100%. I can hear it slowly losing air there. So may need a little refinement inside the, you know, the O-rings or something like that. We'll have to figure that out later, but I'm going to be reviewing this right out of the box because I feel like that's what the point of this video is. This blaster does come with some weird darts still. Not sure why they keep choosing this dart. We will not be using these. These I did test in my original review video. These are not going to be good for high FPS. They only send you 10 of them, which is strange because the magazine holds 15 or possibly more actually. So do like these magazines though. They're pretty sweet also. Have a video on my channel about those also. So I've actually bought these in a blue and run these quite often. But we will be testing these with our standard worker darts. These are actually the bamboo darts, which I do find in the other unicorns to be the most consistent and reliable. But I will test them with the regular foam Gen 3 workers also, just to give you a comparison. So let's go ahead, put this thing over the chronograph and see what kind of performance we're getting. So before we go on and put this thing over the chronograph, if you're enjoying this content, please like, comment, and subscribe. It really helps out the channel. Make sure you ring that bell also for notifications, since I don't post as regularly as I would love to, but that will definitely help you know when I do post a video, because I guarantee you probably won't know unless you ring that bell. So definitely do that, and let's go ahead and put this thing over the chronograph. So I do have the worker bamboos, 12 of those loaded up right now. We'll put 12 shots over the chronograph, kind of see where we're at. Then I'll switch to the standard worker Gen 3s. And I will not be using a B car since it didn't come with one. 203. 181. 202. 193. 198. 192. 217. 210. 207. 210. 226. 208. So a little inconsistent there, but definitely right around or just above that 200 FPS range. We got one real high one at 228, which was crazy, but you know, around 200 FPS. So maybe not the 230 that I was told this could get, but if it does get 230, it's probably with lighter darts, especially with those ones that it comes with. But yeah, those aren't going to be very usable. But nevertheless, with normal darts, right around 200. We'll go ahead and put some standard workers in just to see how that compares. All right, we got 10 of the standard workers. We'll see how those do. 198. 202. 195. 201. 206. 202. 213. 212. 197. One more. 208. So that actually seemed more consistent, so that's good news that we can use non-bamboo darts, which is definitely a plus because that's usually what I use. So since we've increased the power, definitely seems to be more consistent with those standard worker Gen 3s. I'm going to go ahead and put over a new dart that is a heavy Sabre dart that they sent over also for me to test out. I'm really curious about those. I use heavy darts often in competitive play, so we'll see how that drops the FPS. If your game type doesn't care about what weight the dart is, that definitely can get you under an FPS cap. So we will put those to the test over the chronograph to see kind of how they perform there, and then we'll put them over the range and see how they perform compared to the Gen 3. So let's check them out. So I do apologize. These look the exact same as the worker dart from the naked eye, but these are the Sabre T darts. They have a little T on them, but unfortunately they are the same color. But these, the foam on these is much stronger, much harder than the worker, and this is a good foam in my opinion, and this is way harder. The tip is glued on really well, but this dart weighs 1.3 grams and this one only weighs 1. So that is the difference in terms of weight. This is probably the heaviest dart I've fired so far, so it'll be interesting to see how that compares. But let's go ahead and test them out. 10 darts loaded up. 220? The hell? That doesn't make any sense. These are the heavy darts, right? It says heavy. Heavies, so they're supposed to be the heavies. They shouldn't shoot harder, or they shouldn't shoot faster anyways. Here we go. One more. 220? What is going on here? 226? 223? 220? 221? 215? 227? 213? 225? And we're out. So I did weigh those. It does seem like those are the heavy darts. Don't know why it's shooting way harder than the lighter dart. That doesn't make sense. Or faster, I should say. Harder, it would shoot harder because it's a heavier object. But just for comparison, we're gonna go ahead and try the worker heavies and see how those compare, because it just seems strange. This is why I don't do data stuff, because some reason things don't work out the way you expect. But you know, maybe it's just more optimized through the barrel. That foam might be helping it go through the barrel quicker. I don't know. Try the worker heavy, see what we do. 184, see, that makes more sense. 196, 190, 194, 193, one more, 199. So those definitely are a little lower, so that makes more sense. It may have something to do with the foam and the dart type, but initial thoughts are pretty impressive with these Sabre darts, although they weren't lowering the FPS like I expected. But we'll go ahead and put them over the range and see what kind of performance we're getting. All right, went ahead and threw Gavin Fuzzy's 5x3 B-Car on. This one is from Out of Darts. It has his, well, not logo on it because they kind of screwed up, but you can get this actually a little cheaper right now because of that. So definitely look into that if you're interested. Link in the description box below. But I did pay for this myself. This blaster really needs a B-Car, so just wanted to test this one out. I haven't used the 5x3. I've used the 3x3, and that one I really like. So 230 FPS, I think we can get away with a little longer B-Car. Should be perfect for this. And we'll see what kind of performance we're getting over the range. I went ahead and threw in the standard Gen 3 darts and the heavies, just because the bamboos didn't seem to really be any better or any different. So we'll just go with the standard ones, and then we'll try those Sabre darts and see how well they do, because those things are impressive. Let's go ahead and put this over the range. All right, I'll try to keep this as level as possible. All right, Sabre T darts. All right, you guys, that B-Car was definitely solid. Those T darts flew way further than the workers, which is a good thing because they're gonna look very similar to you, but we'll definitely go check out what kind of ranges we got. Very impressive. All right, So obviously there's some human error in terms of levelness, but I felt like I did pretty well. One of the worker Gen 3s fell pretty short here, but most of them are up this way, so we'll go up there and get a range from them where they mostly landed. There's one here, and they go all the way up to basically where those yellows are, so definitely a little more variation in range on these. These have been fired a few times, so that may have something to do with it, but they're still in pretty darn good shape. So, you know, we'll go ahead and take a measurement from the middle and see what we get. All right, we'll try to take a measurement here. 35 yards, so over 100 feet, 105 feet. So that's pretty darn good range. Makes sense for around 200 FPS. The yellows went just a little bit further up here and much more consistent. So we'll take and that's kind of where the top standard darts landed also. So we'll take a measurement from there, kind of give you the furthest standard and the middle of the heavies. 38 yards. So what is that, 115 feet? Well, a little less than that. And T-darts are all the way from there to there. So we'll take a measurement from the shortest and the longest and see what we're doing. 47 yards, 49 yards. So 150 feet with those Sabre darts. That's pretty darn good. All right, you guys, let's go over the pros and cons of this blaster, my final review, and how much this thing costs. So go over cost first. This thing is going to retail for $150 from Outer Darts. So definitely check that out. Link to everything in the description as always. He did send this over for review to me for free, which was really kind and awesome, but that does not change my opinion ever. I'm a very honest person to a fault sometimes, but definitely you'll be getting my honest opinion on this thing. So I have a lot of time spent with the Unicorn platform. I really like it. It is a all nylon platform. It loves dye. It is easy to customize in terms of color that way. So I really enjoy it. It's a very durable blaster. It is awesome. It does have a few things that I would like to see upgraded, and I'm surprised they didn't do it with this more expensive, high-powered version, most of which is the stock. The stock is pretty cheap and flimsy in my opinion. The bars could be a little stronger. Now, at 130 FPS, the light prime, it wasn't too bad. It was probably fine for that, but for something that has this much spring load, this I do think is a little too flimsy. It's probably not quite strong enough, and it's probably not as comfortable as some people would like. To use these iron sights, this should be lower also, but you're gonna have to go with some sort of optical on higher, which also leads me to the next thing I don't really care for, the decision to only send the movable rail. That doesn't really make sense for something that you want to use accurately. If you have an optic on here and it's constantly moving, it's gonna not stay calibrated. So yeah, that is a weird choice, but you can get 3D printed rails like you saw on my other Unicorn and customize it differently. So it's pretty easy to change out, no huge deal, but a little interesting that they decided to just send the movable top rail. A little disappointed that they also didn't send both grip types with this, or even maybe include a new one, but I understand this was for manufacturing purposes. It was easy to stick with this, and this is fine. It works just fine. I even like to kind of put my thumb up here on top to give me a little more purchase there, but you know, definitely not bad there. And also I think they should have included a B-car of some sort with this, although most people are probably going to change it for a nice one if they send something, you know, lower quality. So that's not really a huge deal. Maybe it's actually a plus for some people to keep the cost lower. So, but it does need some sort of scar to be usable, in my opinion, at least effectively. And those T-darts, those things were awesome. I need to try the standard weighted ones because, wow, those perform way better than the worker darts. Very surprising, honestly. And they're much more durable. So yeah, that might be the go-to dart from here on out, at least at this point. So thank you so much to Luke for sending this blaster over. I do love this platform so much. I think this is a great buy at 150 bucks. It's definitely solid. There are tons of blasters that are very similar to this, so you have a lot to choose from, but I do think this is worthy, and it is a solid blaster. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the review. Definitely let me know what you think in the comment section below. Smash that like button, ring the bell for notifications, subscribe obviously if you haven't subscribed, and as always, peace out.